So I sort of ruffled up a lot of feathers with my last Overwatch video here, and with that I want to go ahead and try to put somewhat of another way to ruffle your feathers more, but I'm also going to try to be a little bit more nicer than my last video, even though my last video was literally consisted of facts and not opinion. Just saying. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and put out this new, this new segment for you guys, because possibly you guys could go ahead and understand where I'm coming from. I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible for this. So here is my top 5 worst Overwatch characters and players in Overwatch. So this is gonna be based off, like, you know, the character design, the character kits, and also the people that played that specific character. So I know some of you guys will probably agree with me, some of you guys won't, but as I said, leave in the comments, let me know what you guys think, and let me know how you guys feel about this selection, or let me know what do you think is the worst character or the worst players in Overwatch. So let's get started. Now, I think a lot of players would agree with me on this, especially as a Moira main, that Moira players tend to be the most annoying and the most ridiculous players of all time. I'm not going to talk bad about her kit, because her kit is so helpful in certain instances, especially when you need to counter specific things like a Genji, or even a diva, or even someone who can barely handle her life-sucking ability. But I don't understand when it comes to Moira players, that especially why you cannot balance the damage and the healing together, because you have to do damage in order to heal. It makes no fucking sense of why you can't do that balance between the both, or manage to at least do a little more healing than the damage. For this character, it's literally you have to do damage to be able to do like some type of healing, and it sucks that people can't fucking do that because of the simple fact that they don't know how to fucking try to do that. They want to go strictly DPS, and that's not how it works. Especially when you're using your ult, it's not just about killing people with the ult, it's also using the ult to heal your team. So I don't see why people have an issue with playing this character, especially as a healer, because she is meant to be a healer. And you have to realize that, as I said, there's this balance that you have to maintain. Like, I'm using my ult right now to keep my team alive. Like, that's very important, even though I am still doing damage to the other team. Like, that's what is mainly needed. This is a reason why a lot of people hate Moira mains, because they don't know how to balance both of these two things that are a necessity for the character. You are by far the worst tank player, or the worst tank in the fucking game. I understand that you still want to try to play him like he was in the DPS mode, but this is not how it works. Especially when I'm trying to support, especially a Doomfist, and I had a Doomfist get pissed off at me because I wasn't healing him, but he was going all over the map, and you guys still managed to go all over the freaking map to a point where I can't even heal you. And it freaking sucks that, like, I'm trying my best to support you as a tank, and you guys don't know jack shit about, you know, literally staying in one place so I could fucking heal you. And I understand you have the little absorb ability with the glove, but then when you get fucked up so bad because of that, and get fucked up because you want to go ahead and do DPS like this, it's very hard for me to go ahead and support you. And I don't understand if you are not doing good with Doomfist. Especially some of you guys don't understand that Doomfist can be countered a lot. And some of you play Doomfist on the competitive level and know jack shit of how to play him. Let me say this, and this is for a comment for every player. If you are not getting better at a character, then obviously that character is not made for you. Like, doing something repetitive and trying to get a different outcome out of it is a sign of insanity. I've tried that, especially when I wanted to try to learn how to be a good McCree main, but I hated McCree because he wasn't fun and I wasn't getting kills with him. But then when I switched to a Reaper, I was getting more kills with Reaper and I had more fun with Reaper. Obviously, the character for McCree, or excuse me, Cassidy, looks cool, but for me, I just didn't want to play Cassidy anymore. It was just absolutely boring, and I wasn't getting better at him. So I switched to a new character, and I found my right character that I could have used. But the problem with Doomfist players, it goes to a major extent, is that as much as we want to support you, you rolling around and doing like trying to stay away from the team is not helpful, especially when we're trying to do that support, like either trying to nano you but you're too far away, or you're on the other side of the map, or try to heal you but you're too far away and you're on the other side of the map. And seriously, that's literally one of the reasons why I hate Doomfist players to a major extent. It astounds me of how much skill you don't take to actually be good at Junkrat. Like, Junkrat is probably one of the easiest characters to understand, and I don't understand why people want to go him a skilled character. I don't get it. I will never understand it. I don't understand the idea of his kit. The fact that he has 2 bombs and 2 traps kind of annoys the shit out of me. Simply because of the fact that, you know, he is used as a last-minute choice character for most people. I hate the idea that, you know, they changed his kit because of the fact that he was taking damage from his grenades, which he should be taking damage from his grenades. If that's the case, then Soldier should not be taking damage from his missiles, neither should Pharah. But obviously, you know, people don't want to do that because that would make Soldier and Pharah absolutely overpowered. But not really, since Pharah is barely played and Soldier is literally taken down now left and right. And what I don't understand is that a lot of people have told me, because I even had a discussion with my friend about this, that Junkrat takes a lot of skill to play on higher ranks. I laughed my ass off because of the fact that I could just lob my actual grenades wherever I choose, and in the process of that, it will do some type of damage to someone. I could just go ahead and toss my grenade wherever I want, or even toss my trap, and then when somebody gets caught in my trap, I could just walk up to them and just beat the shit out of them with the grenades, or just toss an actual mine at them. But no, we want to go ahead and live in a fantasy world thinking that, you know, Junkrat is one that takes skill, which is absolutely wrong. I think there's a lot of other characters that take skill more than Junkrat. I think as a character, he's one of the highest ranked damage characters. I think his ultimate is absolutely amazing. I like his character design. I think especially if you want to have a character who is like somewhat of the Jokerish type character, comical clown type character, then I think Junkrat definitely fits that. As a character design, I love him. As you know, his story, I love him. I like the damage he does, but as a character for skill, I would never recommend him being, or I would say that he is one that takes a lot of skill to understand. Also, I wanted to go ahead and actually respond to this comment here that, you know, that someone decided to make about, you know, the video mocking my Reaper ult and saying that I have a less understanding of the video game based on them watching my video. First of all, thank you for watching my video. So I'm gonna give you a thank you on that. Second of all, I probably know this game better than you do, and I'm gonna tell you why. I have played this game since alpha of the first game, and then I've also played this game since the beta where Bastion actually had a shield, where Junkrat actually could go ahead and, you know, take damage from his grenades. I remember when the first concept of Genji was a ninja with a bow and arrow, until they decided to go ahead and split them apart to make them into brothers, which came out with Hanzo and Genji. I also remember the idea of when Brigitte came in and people decided to go ahead and use her to break the meta, and where people decided to go ahead and give the voice actor death threats because of the simple fact that Brigitte broke the game. So I've been playing this game ever since it was in alpha of the first one till now. So the understanding of the game and everything that I stated from those 5 dumb things that players have told me are actual factual things that people hate about Overwatch. That's why people don't even play Overwatch. Those are the things that are why people hate the community of Overwatch. And I'm speaking on the aspect of how the game was made and how the characters were established. So if you could kindly find a chair and sit your ass down for a second, because someone who knows better than you actually taught you something that you didn't know. So thank you, and you know what, when Daddy is done, we will deal with the other situations of putting you in timeout. But on to the next one. Lucio players have to be the worst support players of all time. I hate the idea of Lucio players, and I love the idea of him being a DJ. I love his, like, you know, his story behind it. I hate the idea that you can wall run infinitely. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair in any type of manner, that he can wall run infinitely without just going down, like, you know, like down the wall when he can't continue. I just hate that aspect, especially that would make no sense as he's wearing rollerblades. And I also hate things like Reddit Lucios that just want to do DPS when, and a lot of people hate when I say this, when Lucio is a healer. Yes, he is a healer. I'm sorry you don't want to believe that, but yes, Lucio is a healer. Lucio by himself, when you have people around his circle, if you see that little circle that's around there in Discord, not right now, Discord, because obviously you're making me upset right now more than Lucio mains. The fact that people don't get the idea that Lucio has this circle here, which can speed boost people towards the point, which is very helpful. But now, since it's kind of different, because now they have this ability, or like this thing set in for the game where, like, for those who are trying to spawn in and then you have another person close to your spawn time, you spawn at the exact same time as them, which is weird to me. The fact is, when you have people in the circle, they heal over time. You heal over time, and you constantly do things like, you know, you're amp it up to go ahead and heal the healers or the DPS on there, which can maintain the 2 DPS and the healer when you're doing roll queue, and can even provide a little bit of healing for the tank. Especially, it does a lot of provision for the tank for the open queue competitive scene, because people wanted the tanks to go ahead and lower their HP, which is absolutely ridiculous, which they should bring back the regular HP for the tanks in open queue. How are you going to go ahead and play a role or a character with, you know, by lowering their HP or learning how to play them by just going ahead and nerfing the shit out of them just because it's open queue? That's absolutely ridiculous. But I don't like the fact that people hate that Lucio is a healer. Lucio heals over time. His amp it up heals over time. You are using the amp it up with healing more than you are using the amp it up with speed. And it's weird to me how people can go ahead and do Reddit Lucio. Like, if somebody's strictly doing Reddit Lucio, then that is one of the worst things possible, because it doesn't provide and it doesn't show what you're doing as a teammate, because of the simple fact that you should be providing healing. If you're not providing healing, then you are not doing your job as a support to do the major way to support your team, which is healing. Healing is a primary way to go ahead and heal your team. Why do you think some supports have healing as a primary or even secondary attack? And why even abilities to go ahead and, like, Lucio's passive to heal over time is set as a thing, is because he's a healer. And I'm sorry that might ruffle a lot of Lucio main's feathers, but that's just how it is. Wow, a robotic ninja, a cybernetic ninja, literally mostly half man, half robot, with, you know, ninja stars, or a nice pair of ninja stars, like, you know, like a nice ninja sword, you know, a katana, and then you have like a little blade right there. Yeah, that hasn't been done before, you know. There hasn't been multiple amazing ninjas in gaming. There hasn't been amazing cybernetic ninjas in gaming, but you know, I digress. Otherwise, as a character, as his story with Genji, I think Genji's pretty cool. But, and this is just an opinion of mine, I know people think differently. I think Genji does not take that much skill to play. I think his kit is pretty overpowered. And I'll say this in an aspect. For his tri-burst attack, if you're doing things like damage towards a regular DPS or a support, he could do major amounts of damage to both roles. And for things like, you know, certain ultimates, certain primary attacks, certain projectiles, he could go ahead and deflect almost probably like 40 plus items on everybody's kit altogether. Now, why I hate his kit so much is because it's pretty overpowered. And I'll say it like this: I could deflect anybody's projectile and use it against them, which is obviously why it's called deflect. Especially for things like, you know, his dash, where if I'm doing damage to someone and I hit somebody with my dash, it doesn't have a cooldown. It just resets, which is not fair. As a character, he is pretty mobile with his dash, which could bring him to any places where it's like can bring him across the map or even onto a high point in the map. I hate the fact that he could also do things like a double jump, which a lot of people who are Genji mains double jump and shoot and not act like they don't have aiming capabilities, which is weird to me. I hate the idea that, you know, he could wall run as well. It's like, bro, it's like, are you kidding me? Like what else do you need to be more open, more free, and more like on the basis you are literally one of the most overpowered kits in the game? And don't even get me started with his ultimate. If I go ahead and kill people with the sword, his ultimate, cooldowns for his dash actually start all over. Cooldowns for most of his abilities start all over. So I don't understand why people will say that Genji is not good in this game, or he is not just like an overpowered character with his kit. I think, in my opinion, when people say that Genji is not good in this game is because they're trying to play Genji against the character that is his counter, which this game is based off of counters. So for instance, if I'm playing Genji, I'm going to counter him with a Moira or a Zarya, or even with things like Winston or Symmetra, and people don't like that. And remember when Sombra, before she had the virus, remember she had that whole entire like thing where she can hack people out of their abilities? Genji could not double jump, Genji could not dash, Genji could not wall run. That was a major counter to Genji and people hated it. But now, with the fact that it's changed up, Genji could do a lot more with what he's doing. I just think is that people, when they try to play him, they try to play him against a character that is strictly his counter and that they know they cannot beat. Now, before anybody gets at me in the comments, so I don't have to turn off the comments for some ignorant bullshit like I did for my last video, because people don't like facts instead of, you know, just being upset at the facts that I stated. This video is strictly opinionated. It is not factual. It is all based on what I think is the worst characters in Overwatch. But as I said, that's all different opinions on different characters. So in the comments on this video, please tell me, who is the worst character in Overwatch and why? But with that, definitely subscribe to the EHG community. Definitely turn your notifications for when we get new streams and new videos set out. Definitely join us on our Facebook group, our Discord channel. Make sure to go ahead and check out our merchandise, which right now, if you go into the link right now for our Teespring, we have a 50% off your purchase for new sweaters, t-shirts, and etc. And with that, thank you guys for watching. This is Nico from the EHG community. Stay tuned for another video, and remember that there's always something amazing on the horizon.